Page 26, To Daybreak. This is a lesson on the time signature for 9/8. They say 9/8 meter. Meter and time signature is the same thing. Just it depends on what country you're from. Hopefully you understand what the numbers mean. That's not the problem. Really what this is more into is interpreting 9/8 time signature. You see, you already understand an eighth note can get a count. We've had 6/8 before, maybe 3/8, I don't know. And you understand the top number, just how many of those eighth notes are going to be in a measure, more or less. But the idea is the natural accents. Where do they go? So I'll come back and I'll talk about the natural accents when we get to interpretation. I want to go through a routine I use for learning a new piece of music, and we'll get there eventually. So first I'll look it over. I see it's 2 pages long. And I know there's eighth notes all over everywhere, but it's in 9/8 time. I would expect eighth notes because an eighth note gets a count. So just calm down. We'll get through this. Treble and bass clef, 3 flats in the key signature. We're in the key of E flat major. So make sure you can do the scales and arpeggios for E flat major and C minor, because C minor also has 3 flats. Should be doing these at least 2 octaves up and down by now. And then, of course, 9/8 time signature we talked about. Let's look at each hand to make sure we can kind of know what the hand is doing. In the right hand, you're starting here. You're sort of in this position. It's 1, 2, 3. And that gets 6 counts, of course. And again, okay, isn't this fun? Last measure, the first line here. And then that's introduction. And then the song starts. Up. We want to connect these, and if this doesn't work, if you can't be up in here, you got to do this. You may have to use second finger on both of those, but if you can, use the fingering in the book here. Then lift up and come down and do it again. And then just come up here and just take these one at a time, and then here, just there. And then 2, 5, and then come up. And you do it again. Now at the bottom of page 26, in the second measure, we're here. That wavy line, I'll come back to that later. Right now, just playing a chord. That LH, that's for the top note. It's telling you, let the left hand play the top note, and I'll explain that a little later, just right here. And then come down. I like to do a 2/4 here. I want to connect them both. And this, you can slide off. I just like to do a 2/4, 1/5 here. And then lift up. If you can relax, come over. Otherwise, you can lift up. I'll leave that up to you. So again, bottom of page 26, the last 3 eighth notes is here. And then 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. Hopefully you get this rhythm okay. Page 27, first line, last measure, here. And then go on. See, that last A is also a natural because we had a natural in that measure earlier on, and it's good for the rest of the measure. Yeah. That's basically the piece. In the third line, you go back to what you were doing in the page 26, second line. Left hand is 3/1 here. We want to kind of be in this position, sort of. And so that's why we're here and then here, and then we come down. And then just drop down this. Then right here, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to need to put 4th finger on that A flat, not 3rd. I can go put 4. I'm not trying to cover all these notes in one hand position. I'm kind of moving the hand as a here, to here, and then here. Third line down on page 26. I I do a 3 on that, so I can do here. Both of these are black keys, you ought to be able to handle that. They're doing this 2-1, and that's okay, you can do that. I just don't like doing 2-1 like that. I do a 3 on that. 3, yeah. And then do it again. Top of page 27, we got these broken chords. So I'm just transferring weight from finger to finger here. Just watch out what the notes are. They may not be what you expect. Second line, third measure on page 27, you're here. And then G naturals. And now it's a B flat. Here. Just watch out on these notes. They may not be what you think they are. And you go back to doing what you were doing. Put the hands together. Start with the second line. It's here. Just see it again. When I first put the hands together, I'm liable to hesitate all over the place. Don't care. I'm just trying to get the feel of which fingers are working together here. So again, it's here, and then come out. Hold that down as you do that, and then come down. And here, and here. Top of page 27 with a pickup to it. The last 3 notes on 26, you're here. So you got to go here. That's all right. You got to move the left hand a little bit. Anyway, you go through and work out the hands together. Then get rid of the hesitation so it's a steady beat throughout. Now on these chords that I've been avoiding, that's like at the bottom of page 26. You get the same thing at the bottom of page 27. It's the chord with the wavy line on it. The hands together here on that, no big deal. And then the left hand has to play that. Well, you can't do that very well. How does that work? Well, that's where the wavy line comes in. So once you work this out and no hesitations, everything's fine, then I add in the articulation and the wavy lines and the ornaments and stuff. At the beginning, you have an accent on the first beat. Just give it a little extra. And the second line here, connect them. Up between these phrases. Now on this chord at the bottom with the wavy line here, it's a rolled chord. That's what the wavy line means. You roll it, you arpeggiate it, and you're going to start with the bottom note. You're going to play each note one at a time. Hold it down. And this is why, as you're doing this, you come over. So it's, but still hold this down. I'd hold this down if I could, but I can't. And how fast you roll it, that's interpretation. You got to get into it and feel it. Right now, we're just going to roll it. It's not done rhythmically or anything. It's just boom, boom. And then you lift up. Lift up between these phrases. It's like taking a breath. Then once you have an idea of the articulation, then think about the dynamics. It applies to the melody, although in this first line, it's really more the right hand. P for soft, that makes the accent note sort of soft, medium soft. You're getting soft. See the hairpin in the third measure? You come down to very soft. Very soft. Well, the accented note then is soft. And you start in the second line soft, and you're going to go up. It doesn't say how much to go up. Just go up to about a moderately soft. Don't go up much. Come back down. Do it again. Stay there, moderately soft. Retardando. Get softer. Back to soft again. Do it again. Soft. Stay there. You get the idea, I hope. At the bottom of page 26, you're sort of soft in here. They don't give you any dynamics at all. You stay basically at a dynamic until they give you another one. Although once you get into it and you start interpreting it, you might adjust that a little. So at the bottom of the page, we're still moderately soft. When you go into the second section there, in the last measure of page 26, you're here. You're still sort of soft in the melody. Everything else is in the background. And you crescendo at the top of the page 27 and a hairpin. You don't need both. They mean the same thing. Basically, you're just going to crescendo through the first measure up to moderately loud. So you have to plan it out. I would do it like every 3 beats at a time. You just get a hair louder. Here, louder, louder. Now you're moderately loud here. And come back down and go up, back up. So the first note in the second measure and the first note in the third measure is the same. Now you're loud, of course. Soft, just because you're soft. The second line, you're soft. There's a crescendo in the second line, third measure. You're moderately loud, and you're going to crescendo up to loud. There. Here for the last measure of that line, and then you come back down. So in the third line, you're back like you were at toward the beginning, soft. You get the idea, I hope. I'm kind of giving you ideas with the dynamics, and it's really you need to get into it and interpret it and feel the dynamics. At the end, the last measure or so, you're soft here and very soft here. This has to be super soft because all the time I'm doing this in the last measure, I want to hear that. Don't drown it out. And don't use the soft pedal, that's cheating. You got to learn to control the hands and the fingers. Use very light, very little weight on these. Speed, about where I've been going, I think. Down to the bottom of page 26, you see in the last measure you have a poco animato. That means a little bit animated, a little faster. That's also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Down at the bottom, 1, 2, 3. We sped it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It goes a little faster. Now there is a retardando at the bottom of page 26, the second measure. And you can slow the roll chord down if you want to. Don't drag it. And then you take off. Now some people would take off at the bottom, that poco animato, they would apply that to the pickup beat. So that would be quick. That would be the new speed. So it is here and then take off. Different ways of interpreting it. I think it should be the same speed. The pickup beat is the same speed as the rest of it. They could have put the poco animato, started it under the pickup beat and the printing, but a lot of times in these printing and these things, they don't put the stuff exactly where it goes. You have to kind of adjust it based on the music and what you need. It's like at the top of page 27 in the first measure, they give you a crescendo and a hairpin. Well, if you look at the second line first measure, it's the same thing, but there's no crescendo, just the hairpin. So in my opinion, probably that's an error in the first line. They don't need the crescendo. So you could cross it out and just wait until the last 3 beats of the measure and then go out. Here, crescendo there, like you would do in the second line, and that would be fine. Now on page 27, at the end of the second line, you have the molto rallentando. That's the same thing as a ritardando a lot. Molto means a lot. And rallentando means the same thing as ritardando for our purposes. Some people would say, oh no, it's not quite the same. Oh, go away. You're slowing down a little bit. So you've been going up there. You're just slowing down quite a bit, and then you're back to the speed you were going at the beginning. Yeah. You have a ritardando at the bottom. The last 2 measures. And an odd tempo, and I think the odd tempo belongs on the pickup beat again. Yeah, in my opinion. Now on top of all that, they've added pedal. Well, we could use pedal to help us connect some of these notes and to give us overtones. It changes the tone, and that's really what we're after. But we have to be careful because we don't want to smear it up too much. They're showing overlapping pedal throughout for most of it. They don't pedaling everything. Look out here on some of this is not pedaled. So don't pedal the part they don't show pedaled. So at the beginning, I push the note down first and then the pedal. I'm going to change the pedal after I play the note so it overlaps it just a little bit. Change there, and if you want to hear a little silence before you go on, lift the pedal with the hands and go on. Now this is where the interpretation comes in the 9/8 meter. They're natural accents. There's 3 natural accents. It almost sounds like it's a 3/4 time playing triplets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You feel this in it. So in the second line here, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You feel these. So get to know it where you're comfortable enough with it. And when you start interpreting it, that's how you're going to feel it. watch out here on the bottom of each of these pages where you have the rolled chord. You notice that the pedal actually starts a beat sooner. That's to help me connect it. I can't connect it with my hand. I got to use the pedal. So I push the pedal down on the last one and then change it. That helps me connect it there. So, and then go on. You have to listen carefully to the pedal and use the pedal where you think it needs to be. And don't use the pedal unless you have to, but in this particular piece, we pretty much need it throughout.